G'day guys, it's Calvin from the Car Tune Company. Sun's starting to set, but I'm going to try and belt out a chat about hydraulic fan pumps. Let's find what I'm talking about. So I've got a whole lot laid on my bench, these units here, and when they're on an engine, they're located there, and you can see this one's been stripped out. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts. Okay, we'll find another motor with one. Here's one, and this is perfect. So here we have hydraulic fan pump, and that's the wrong pump on this engine. That's a 20 series VVT-i pump on a non-VVT-i engine. Okay, anyway, so I get told that that is a water pump. There's the water pump there. The water pump is run off the cam belt. I get told they're an engine oil pump. They are not connected to any oil from the engine. Here we go. Lines, 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 lines. So what are these things for? And as I mentioned earlier, they are a hydraulic fan pump. So it's the cooling fan on the radiator that's run with this hydraulic pump on its own separate reservoir, its own separate system of oil. I happen to have a hydraulic fan here as well. You can see here is your reservoir for oil going into the system, flows down to the pump. Here's the fan, high pressure here, low pressure coming off. I did that wrong, didn't I? That's to the pump, and this, you can see it doesn't go direct, it goes through a cooler. So there's a little radiator, little cooler in the front of the system as well, which I've probably got one, to tell you the truth. It's laying around somewhere in my setup. So this radiator is out of a Sora, which is really common to have these hydraulic fan pumps. And in fact, to correct me if I'm wrong, we might have a look whether the SC400s have hydraulic fans or electric, because we don't see SCs. Let's have a bit of a look here. That one's a UCF10. It's a Celsius. Sora, North America, SC400. So SC400, yes, hydraulic fan pump. And we'll go through that in a moment. I'll match these with models. And it's really, really interesting today. To tell you the truth, I have never sat all of these hydraulic fan pumps next to each other. And even I learned something today, which is something that's really great about my job, because even though I know a lot about these engines, there's always something new to learn. And I knew there was a longer one. I knew there was one that bolted straight on, but I never made the connection between the really long one and that shorter one and what the differences are. And basically, I'm just going to make this shit up today and make it sound like I know what I'm talking about. If you haven't worked out, that's how most of my videos are. Anyway, first kind, that one there. This one here is the SC400, or the Sora unit. And I'll show you how to check some of this information, and I'll put this part number into Toyo DIY. And Toyo DIY used to be heaps better before they took all the pictures away. I also have the Toyota listings, because I have access to the New Zealand Toyota parts catalogue, but often Toyo DIY is better. So the part number on this one, 16920. Now, funnily enough, guys, all of them are 16920. 16920. 16920. It's pretty common with Toyota part numbers that the same parts have the same first part number. Now, this is actually quite interesting. 50. 50 is not a Sora chassis code. 24 is Sora. That's a 50, that's a 50, that's a 50. This has actually got 50 as well. Toyota even break their own rules. 021. So looking at that in Toyo DIY, I'm going to need to look at my phone because I'm Sora SC400 and Crown Majesta 141 Crown. That comes out with that unit there. They have 5 bolts around the front of them. So where it bolts on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The center shaft, oh, I didn't undo that one, is on a taper. So this shaft, this pulley, and the pulley is bolted directly to the shaft, and it is a left-hand thread. Here, this one. No, it's not that one. That one's different. They are a left-hand thread. And you're just going to have to trust me on this, that one runs a bush. Okay, so that one runs a bushing in the front of the unit. So that one is bushed. If you don't have any oil in it, it's going to seize because it relies on the oil into this housing. You can actually see that there's not a bearing in there on that bush to lubricate the system. So I've seen lots of those seized. You can strip them out, and that's what I've done here. And this one I cheated. I just bent the pulley out of the way to get the last bolt out. I'm going to get the bolts out and just turn the pulley. Or I can smack them with a big hammer, or ideally, when you get them off nicely, you use a puller. And you can see that is, well, you probably can't see, but that is tapered. And it bolts directly onto the shaft. Stripped out, and I'm doing another video one day on stripping these out. But they're not actually that hard. What you do is you undo all the bolts and you pull the shit off them and you throw it away and you're left with a cavity inside. That's pretty simple. And it will look like old Yella's one. So here's old Yella. That piece there can come out as well. I didn't strip this one, it was already done. And then the belt runs straight through here. The 4-bolt one, you can see it's been ground out. The 5-bolt one sits flush, so the belt will run through fine. And you can do it much neater than this. Find someone with a mill and take the front off it nicely. And you can put a plate on if you want. But there's no oil, there's no leakage, there's nothing in there. It's not going to ooze oil out, but it just covers that cam belt up. Stripping hydraulic fan pump, that's another day. Right, moving on, we have this one. So this is the next series. And I should mention too how they're controlled, how you control the oil flow, and that's through the solenoid. And we have, I've got this solenoid here. So that's that solenoid. This one here matches that one. We have this solenoid here. That's that one there, screws in. It screws in, wiring up the top. This one screws in with a little nipple on the top. We know all guys like nipples, so there we go. And then the later one is a push-in on O-rings with 2 bolts holding it in. And that's on these 2, which we'll get to. And some default open and some default closed, just to make it fun for me. And I do run these units. They're actually a really great unit. The hydraulic fans move a heap of air. Anyway, we were moving on. I got distracted. This one has, just to be different, 22mm nut on the front. The pulley will fall off if it's not bolted on. And it's got this big, long, ugly pulley. This one has 4 bolts around it, and the pulley bolts to a flange, and the flange bolts to the shaft. I hope we all got that. And it's big and long and ugly. So this one, the part number, I was going to do that part number thing. Again, I had to make it up as 16920. And guessing that both of these are 500. This is a 20. No, this is a 50. This is a 60. I reckon, and I can just see 10, so I'm quite certain 16920500010. And looking at the Toyo DIY again, it's not that one. It's got to be this one. So that is a UCF10, UCF11 hydraulic fan pump with the big snouty sticking out the top. Now I believe that that one is very similar in design. So this one here, lefty loosey, righty tighty, it doesn't apply, it's the other way. We pull this one out. This one again, it's a different one, that's not a long one. This is the long one, and I used, so I think that this body here, it looks like that one. Okay, so the big pulley, and I use my puller. Here we go. This one doesn't have a tapered shaft, it's got a key in it. If we look closely here, we have a bearing. Interesting enough too, if we look at the back of these units that have been stripped out, this one here has a big spline. So a big spline, like this one, is bushed. It has gears in the back of it. Whereas this one, the big long one with the bearing, has veins. Has a vein set up to move the oil. There we go, has the little veins, there we go. Has veins. So they're different in the design of the pump as well. So that one has a bearing, so you can strip the guts out of it and run it just as a bearing unit, and that one will be okay because that is a sealed bearing, not lubricated by the oil from the hydraulic fan. We okay on the light? Yeah, we're still okay on the light. Right, next we move away from the one with the big long pulley. We move to the one with the shorter pulley, the solenoid that bolts on with 2 bolts. Short pulley. It has gone back to the 5-bolt design instead of a 4-bolt. So the 4-bolt one is the one that is much longer in the body. So it is going to foul if you strip that one out, you will need to grind it down. The 5-bolt is shorter because it's got an extra spacer in here. You can see right here, we've got the pump unit. We've got this extra cast spacer in between on the sandwich. And I should have bought one of them over because there was one in the box. The part number is 16920500050. That one, if we look at Toyo DIY, is a UCF 20 Celsius unit. We'll just confirm. So that is a UCF 20 Celsius from 94 to 97. So non-VVT-i. Non-VVT-i Celsius. And if we move on to the next one, very similar in design to that one. Part number is 16920500060. I'm just going to move the Sora one, and it does appear, see, this is that same pulley system, and that one has a gear on a shaft with a bushing, so you can't use them as an idler unit. We're just going to get the Sora one out of the way. Just put it on my wheelbarrow. We're going to sit these two very close together. And we'll play a little game of spot the difference. Aircon pump mounts are the same. Those two are the same. Same. But for some reason, they changed the castings between this one and this one. Don't ask me why. But the castings are different between the non-VVT-i and the VVT-i. My hands are dirty. So there we have hydraulic fan pumps. This is the only one, the 4-volt one, that when stripped out and you take the drive unit out of the back, that can be used as an idler. So I've seen a heap of guys pull these apart, put oil through them, lubricate them up, put grease in them, try and seal them up. Now, if you have a sealed unit and you put grease into it, and it starts to build up heat, it's going to pressurize. Hopefully there's enough air, you get the ratio right, but it's actually a whole lot easier just to take them off and throw them away and do something else. And there's options for that. If you're not running hydraulic fan pump, and if you're in America, of course you've got if you've got an LS400, there is an LS400 idler. Different pulley, still got a snout. Okay. So I keep those in stock for LS400s. And if you might have seen the conversions I do, like this one up above us, can we see it? Oh, we can't see it. I'm not going to bring it down. So when I do a conversion, if you've been watching, and I've just done one on the Hilux engine swap, I use an idler that looks like that. Okay, pulley's part of it, really simple, works really well, and I sell a heap of those. They just can't be used on an LS400 that runs the viscous fan. Oh, I didn't mention that, did I? So this one is a second-hand one. So that's your LS400 bracket. Nowadays, I'm seeing lots of rumbly bearings. So it does pay if you're doing a camb out and you've got a 200,000, 300,000 LS400, put a new one on. I see a heap of them fail. So we used to use them all the time in the early days. But I've gone to the other unit now. This one did have a little problem because the little nose was sticking out. I have pressed them apart and put new bearings. We machined them up, and we put 2 individual bearings with a spacer in, and it was a whole lot of stuffing around for the time. So in the time I've been putting this video together, the sun has set. And the temperature is dropping, and it's time for me to call it quits for the night. Now, the only reason that I have all these pumps, of course, is I tend not to throw anything out. I've learned something as well. I've never sat all 4 of them together like that before. And hey, if there's a chance there's some other ones out there, that'd be really interesting as well. As per what often happens when I make up a video, is I think later on that I haven't put enough information in, or I want more information, or I think of other ideas to make a video on. So from this one, at some point I will strip out a hydraulic fan pump and show you what to do. I'm intending to use one on one of these engines conversions one day. Again, I don't have any booked in at the moment, but I really like them. They actually work really, really well. I also, thinking about it, probably should do a video on the route of the belt. So is that the root of the belt or the route of the belt? I probably should do a video on the correct or different ways to fit the accessory drive belt on the front of the engine. It's too confusing it to do the other way. So enough of that for today. If you have enjoyed this video, like and comment. And if you're doing 1UZ stuff and you want some more videos like this, then you can consider subscribing to my channel. just as a sneak of the next video, we will be doing automatic transmissions. Well, it might not be straight after this, but there's one coming up on automatic transmissions. So we'll talk to you again. Catch you later.